and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Lincoln, a 2012 Steven Spielberg film, tells the story of American President Abraham Lincoln in the last months of the US Civil War, and specifically his quest to pass the 13th Amendment and abolish slavery forever. This video essay will examine how the creative team of Spielberg, cinematographer Janusz Kaminski, and editor Michael Kahn were influenced by Hollywood continuity style when creating the film.
The Oscar goes to, this is a big surprise.
Steven Spielberg is widely regarded as a master of his craft for many reasons, one of which is his ability to tell compelling narratives across a variety of genres. While Spielberg primarily works in the adventure and science fiction genres, he has also regularly directed dramas, such as his famous Schindler's List.
I didn't do enough. You did so much.
The film Lincoln is also a historical drama and features similar themes of oppression, likely influencing Spielberg to bring back cinematographer Janusz Kaminski and editor Michael Kahn. Historical accuracy was a major priority among all members of the creative team, with Spielberg undertaking detailed research to ensure the time period and historical figures were represented as authentically as possible. Spielberg wanted audiences to feel as though they were experiencing these events themselves, ensuring the cast acted as realistically as possible.
I said Mr. McPherson.
As the film featured an ensemble cast, Spielberg needed to ensure the film was constructed in such a way that the audience could clearly distinguish between characters and understand the plot progression. In other words, a key focus on Hollywood continuity style. Abraham Lincoln himself was a major focus, requiring Spielberg to draw upon his vast experience in crafting narratives to create a deep, compelling character in Lincoln.
We begin with equality. That's the origin, isn't it? That balance, that's fairness. That's justice.
While Spielberg and Kaminski were surprised by Daniel Day-Lewis's performance as Lincoln at first, expecting a more commanding presence,
That's my speech.
the two ultimately aimed to amplify his presentation in the cinematography, using numerous framing and lighting techniques to draw the audience's attention onto Lincoln. To preserve this focus during the edit, Spielberg and Kahn had to determine where not to cut. These combined efforts by the creative team served two key purposes: to maximize the impact of Day-Lewis' performance and preserve continuity style. Accomplishing this may have been a very difficult feat, but it was made easier by Spielberg's tendency to work with the same creative team from project to project. Kaminski has been cinematographer for every Spielberg film since Schindler's List, granting the two a deep understanding of each other's creative visions. This led to the creative team electing to shoot on film over digital, as the clarity and brightness of the digital would create a dissonance with the time period and clash with the harsh and gritty reality of the Civil War. Since the Lincoln presidency was the first to be recorded in photographs, using film reels with emulsions and visual grain would represent this well. Yet the creatives chose to avoid black and white filmmaking, as they felt it would break the audience's immersion. However, Spielberg and Kaminski took a more stripped down and theatrical approach to Lincoln than some of their other films, meaning Kaminski had more of an opportunity to communicate the film style. He made the deliberate choice to utilize more formalist cinematography as opposed to the historical accuracy present everywhere else at the time. The clearest example of this technique are found in the lighting, by creating strong silhouettes around powerful characters such as Lincoln or Thaddeus Stevens, or constructing interesting imagery in the darkness, such as the opening or scenes featuring the Republican operatives. Kaminski also determined the color directive early on in production, and worked with Kahn to ensure that selects were printed and color timed before being sent to the edit suite. As Hollywood continuity style is largely demonstrated through the editing, Kahn arguably had the biggest influence over the film's style.
56 votes against, 119 votes for, with a margin of 2 votes.
However, he found that the film's ensemble cast was the biggest obstacle in crafting this coherent narrative. Khan not only had to find the right takes, but also cut them together in such a way that the audience could keep track of each individual character without detracting from their performance. The most difficult scene in this regard was the 13th Amendment vote, as it features dozens of characters with dialogue, and Khan needed all the footage before beginning the cut.
God damn it, I'm voting yes.
I don't care. You shoot me dead. You shoot me dead. I am voting yes.
Fortunately, the creative team's efficiency resulted in Khan editing on set and receiving daily feedback, allowing him to complete the assembly cut by the time filming wrapped. The edit was able to be completed so fast due to digital editing, despite being shot on film. Khan's editing assistants converted the film to digital and handled most technical aspects of the post-production, allowing Khan to focus on the edit. Once Spielberg joined him in the edit room, the two practically never stopped experimenting and altering the film until the audio mix was complete, finding the perfect cut to make Lincoln a compelling and continuous narrative.
Just saves him a lot of time. He's not surprised when he sees the editor's first cut and says, "Oh my God, I hate that take, and why didn't I get a close-up?" It makes sense.
Ultimately, the deep understanding and respect between Spielberg, Kaminsky, and Khan is what allowed them to work so effectively together on Lincoln. While the film may have lacked explicit stylistic influences, the creative team's immense industry experience, skill, and consistent collaboration across all stages of production constructed a compelling narrative that the audience can believe exists outside the camera frame, thus achieving the ultimate goal of Hollywood continuity style.